Welcome to the stream, game week 37. Only 2 game weeks left. Let's see. Hopefully the sound is okay. So let me know in the chats if there's something wrong with the sound. Wish Malatra, thanks for joining in. Hi, bro. Question from David: Gyökeres or Saka captain is a must question. I know Saka has more avenues to points, but Gyökeres is a beast against the smaller teams. The minutes for either is complete unknown. Any advice? I think if it's between Saka and Gyökeres for captaincy, I think I'm leaning towards Saka myself, to be honest. The reason why is because of the set pieces. Taking corners can easily get an assist. Can actually get 1 extra point for clean sheets and extra points if he does score. So Gyökeres on penalties on the other side. So I think it's really close between Saka and Gyökeres. So my plan ahead of game week 37 is actually to bring Gyökeres into my team, and I'll have a look at this in a minute. How have you been? All good, Wish Malhotra. How about you? How did game week 36 go for you guys? Small red arrow for me. Nothing wrong with the sound. Plenty wrong with my team from FPL FOMO. The FPL FOMO has been really interesting following his season. No Erling Haaland, no Mo Salah all season. And this was decided before game week 1, so Mo Salah he hasn't really been that great of an asset this season, but it was really a risk going without both of them for all of the season. Nothing wrong with the sound, plenty wrong with my team. So let's have a quick look at my score last game week. Actually, 82 points. It's not that bad. Game week rank of 2.7 million. Still gave me a small red arrow. So I had Verbruggen, Van Hecke the double up, Brighton defensive double up worked well. O'Reilly 5 points and Gabriel 11 points. So actually every defender in my team actually returned. I even had Hill on the bench with 6 points. Pascal Gross got the assist, 6 points, so a bit frustrating. Saka, he blanked. Semenyo, 12 points from him. Bruno Fernandes blanked for the first time in a while. And up front, Joao Pedro, Calvert-Lewin with 7. And Erling Haaland, my captain, 11 points. I was really close to going for a differential captain in game. Really close to going for O'Reilly as my captain, but in the end, going for Erling Haaland proved to be the right decision. I think I'm captaining Gyökeres this week, or maybe Igor Thiago or Saka. I think Thiago is another really good option. Playing at home, he will definitely start. So there are some uncertainty around the Arsenal assets, right? I think if they are like 3-0 up, we can see some rotation in the second half from Arteta. So if Arsenal are 3-0 up against Burnley, I think we can see an early substitution for the likes of Saka and Gyökeres. But I think we still transferring in Saka, Gyökeres. I still think they are really good transfers in. I think they are really good captain options as well. We can't do much with their minutes. We just have to hope that they will deliver this game week. Playbell, hey brother, I posted my team along with some transfer plans. Nice. So if you're interested, as Playbell have done, head over to X, post a picture of your team selection, and we'll get it up on the screen, and we'll do that in a minute. 57 points last week, so no chance for me getting a sub-million rank now. So 57 sounds like a red arrow in double game week 36 for FPL FOMO. So no Erling Haaland. His effective ownership was 200 and something. So of course, seeing that Erling Haaland got a goal and assist in the first fixture really hurt your ranking. Could have been a lot worse, definitely. Erling Haaland did not play in the second match in double game week 36, so I actually was a bit glad that Erling Haaland didn't turn up in that last fixture, because every point Erling Haaland scored would have been against me as well. So of course, Semenyo starting up front, getting a goal was kind of a bonus. I wasn't really tempted by Semenyo to Ryan Shirky, to be honest. Of course, the ownership of Ryan Shirky was tempting, but kind of a sideways move in my opinion. Have sent my team any suggestions? Let's see. There we go. So if you're interested in a team review, head over to this post, the Q&A game week 37. Post a picture of your team in the comments. 44 minutes. So first out, Playbill. Many transfer options, still not 100% sure what to do. One free transfer, and the options are Van Hecke to Saliba, or Everton defender Keane or Tarkovsky. Tavernier to Dewsbury Hall. Joao Pedro to Gyökeres. Also not sure who to captain. I just have it on Erling Haaland from last week. And this is the team. I actually think that Joao Pedro, earlier this week I was actually considering Joao Pedro out to bring in Gyökeres myself, but I actually think this is a good fixture for Chelsea and Joao Pedro. Playing at home against Spurs. I know Spurs really need points, but Chelsea, they are still fighting for spots in Europe, so I can actually see Joao Pedro having a good game week in game week 37. So Van Hecke, Verbruggen, double Brighton defense. Of course, you can do something like Van Hecke to Saliba, double Arsenal. Tavernier to Dewsbury Hall. So the team is kind of similar to my team. My plan is to sell Calvert-Lewin to avoid having Calvert-Lewin play against my goalkeeper and defender. So I have Verbruggen, Van Hecke, double up myself, and I'm not going to play Calvert-Lewin against both of them. So you can potentially sell Van Hecke, of course, to bring in Saliba. Saliba would be my preferred option, tripling up on Arsenal. So you can, of course, go for an Everton defender if you have a plan to bring in Gyökeres in the last game week. But I think if you're going for the triple up on Arsenal, you might as well do it ahead of game week 37 because of the good fixture. So I think with this team, I would do something like Van Hecke to Saliba. I wanted to go different from him, and it hurt. Also, I can't do Calvert-Lewin to Igor Thiago. Yeah, that could be a really good option this game week. Bringing in Igor Thiago, really good fixture, playing at home against Crystal Palace, and we might see some rotation in Crystal Palace, definitely. Calvert-Lewin to Igor Thiago. And this will leave an open spot for an Arsenal player in game week 38 as well. So I like, let's see. So you can sell Calvert-Lewin, bring in Igor Thiago, and actually captain Igor Thiago this game week. Going for Gomez instead of Pascal Gross could maybe the reason I lose my mini league. I'm currently in front by 10 points, but Gross has cost me so much since the second guy in my mini league has him. Yeah, he's done really well, Pascal Gross. I'm really satisfied with Pascal Gross. A bit lucky with the assists and the decision last game week that he got the assist. I think it was the right decision as well. And really satisfying for Pascal Gross owners, and of course a bit frustrating for those who went for Brighton midfielders, went for the likes of Mitoma or Gomez. So especially unlucky with Gomez, of course, got injured. Football and Stuff, hello, thanks for joining in. How are you? Football and Stuff, the Brighton expert. He was actually the one that made me bring in Pascal Gross. I was really close to go for Mitoma myself, but went for Pascal Gross. Do you think Thiago is good for next week versus Liverpool? I think this could be a good fixture for Thiago as well. Yes. I think it's kind of hard to predict because there are not that many teams that are on the beach at this part of the season as we have seen earlier. We know that both Wolves and Burnley, they are relegated. It's a close battle between Spurs and West Ham, of course, and we have a lot of teams fighting for spots in Europe. So I think the landscape will be a bit more clear ahead of game week 38. So I have actually started creating some graphics for my content that will come out next week, and it's not that easy, to be honest, because we actually need to know a couple of results in game week 37 before knowing what will happen in game week 38. 16 points in the double from Pascal Gross compared to Gomez 1, and an assist in game week 32 and game week 36. Pascal Stroik and Justin Gross to Gomez. Ooh. Football and Stuff, thoughts on taking a -4 to do Tavernier to Dewsbury Hall and Ben White to Mosquera? I think if you don't have a triple up on Arsenal, I think it makes sense. I think Mosquera will play both game week 37 and game week 38. I have had a look at the Arsenal fan forum as well, and he's in most predicted starting 11. So I think he will try to avoid having to play Rice in defense. So yeah, I think Mosquera is a decent option. He's not that attacking, don't carry as much attacking threat as, of course, we know Gabriel, and in some ways Saliba does as well. But yeah, I think Mosquera in, Tavernier to Dewsbury Hall and Ben White to Mosquera. Yes, I think it's solid options. Justin went well, but the other cost me. And on net points, I think I've lost some points. Yeah, Justin did really well in double game week 33, but please let me know what I can do with my team. Wish Malhotra will have a look at your team. I think playable with this team. Calvert-Lewin out. I think this really makes sense. I would try to avoid having Calvert-Lewin play against my double up on the Brighton defense. So Calvert-Lewin to Igor Thiago can potentially consider captaining Igor Thiago as well. Or Calvert-Lewin to Jared Bowen. So I definitely like I like Igor Thiago more, especially for this game week. But Jared Bowen is more of a differential, of course. Most probably on penalties for West Ham, but he hasn't really looked that threatening in the last couple of game weeks. But I think Jared Bowen is a good option as well. But in game week 37, playing away against Newcastle, of course, Newcastle nothing to play for, so at home against Leeds in game week 38. So Jared Bowen definitely one to consider as well. Of course, Jared Bowen, one of the only forwards to pick up defensive contributions as well this season. I think if you want to be a bit aggressive, I actually think that if you have the funds to do Calvert-Lewin to Jared Bowen. I haven't really checked Jared Bowen's ownership. Give me a minute. Jared Bowen selected by it's only 12.6% ownership for Jared Bowen, so Calvert-Lewin to Jared Bowen. I actually think this would be my preferred option. I can do something similar, and I will have a look at my own team in a couple of minutes. If I tell you my team, please can you tell me if it's worth the hit? Yes, definitely. Just post your team and we'll discuss your transfers as well. So football and stuff, considering taking a hit. I'm actually considering to take a hit myself. Turner to Dewsbury Hall, Ben White to Mosquera, the Arsenal defender. Sounds good. But let's have a look at the Wish Malhotra's team as well, posted on X. So if you're interested in having your team reviewed, head over to X, post a picture of your team selection. We'll get it up on the screen. You can, of course, also just post your team in the chat. That's also possible. So, oops. So Wish Malhotra, 0.5 million in the bank with one free transfer. And let's have a look at the team. So Verbruggen in goal, double up on the Arsenal defense with Gabriel and Saliba. Saka, captain, so triple up on Arsenal. Bruno Fernandes against Forest. We have Ryan Shirky, Bruno Guimaraes, Casemiro, up front Erling Haaland, Igor Thiago. I think this team looks really, really strong. It's actually Jared Bowen is in there as well. I definitely think I would do Jared Bowen. I would swap Jared Bowen and Casemiro. And with this team, you can easily save your transfer and have 2 free transfers heading into the last game week of the season in game week 38. So I actually really like this team. There are a couple of players in this team I'm a bit jealous. We have Bruno Guimaraes big differential. He has looked really good since returning from injury. You have Igor Thiago at home against Crystal Palace. We might see some rotation in that Crystal Palace team. So I think I would start Jared Bowen. They have a lot to play for. They will try to fight to avoid relegation, and Jared Bowen on penalties for West Ham. So I know about Casemiro's threat on set pieces. He has looked good recently, but I think I would start Jared Bowen ahead of him this game week. So Bruno Fernandes, Saka. I think I actually could start Jared Bowen ahead of Ryan Shirky as well, to be honest, playing away against Bournemouth. Yeah, playable. Considering the last 2 game weeks, I like Igor Thiago better for in isolation game week 37, but for the last 2 fixtures, I think I actually would prefer having Jared Bowen. You can of course do Calvert-Lewin to Igor Thiago and then Igor Thiago to Jared Bowen in game week 38 as well, if you want to use 2 transfers. My team without the -4 is Verbruggen, Van Hecke, O'Reilly, Hill, Tavernier, Semenyo, Bruno Fernandes, Saka, Pascal Gross, Haaland, and Gyökeres captain. On the bench, Darlow, Calvert-Lewin, Pascal Struijk, and Ben White. With the hit, Dewsbury Hall will play over Tavernier. I actually think it's worth taking a -4 for this, to be honest, because Arsenal, I don't really think it's worth having an injured Ben White on the bench taking up an Arsenal spot. So it's a new record for the bookies predicted clean sheet this game week. We have Arsenal on 62% for their home fixture against Burnley. And we have seen Burnley, they actually have started to give chances to some of their lesser experienced players, like we saw Dubravka benched as well. We might see more of this in the next couple of game weeks. So Burnley, they know they will play Championship next season. Arsenal, we have heard talk about the goal difference as well, so I think Arsenal will go all out against Burnley this game week. So having a triple up on Arsenal definitely makes sense. Having Ben White injured in the last couple of game weeks doesn't really make sense. So I'm not really a big fan of playing Hill against Man City this game week, so having Mosquera in for the good victory at home against Burnley, much better. I think this hit probably instantly will pay off, to be honest. Hill against Man City. Of course, Hill, he can get defensive contribution points against Man City, but not expecting a clean sheet. So Tavernier on the bench. Also, I dropped from 97k to 140k, 45k, so I'm kind of chasing. Start Jared Bowen over Ryan Shirky. Yes, I think I would start Jared Bowen over Ryan Shirky, but I think I would start Ryan Shirky over Casemiro, to be honest, but I would definitely start Jared Bowen. So -4, Tavernier to Dewsbury Hall, Ben White to Mosquera, bench Hill. I definitely think Even though it's for a -4, I think those transfers looks really, really good. So with this team on the screen, it's Wish Malhotra, start Jared Bowen over Ryan Shirky. As mentioned, I would start Jared Bowen. I think with this team, I would put Casemiro on the bench, but I think I actually would start Jared Bowen ahead of Ryan Shirky as well. Bruno Fernandes, Saka, Bruno Guimaraes, Haaland, Thiago should definitely start. I think Jared Bowen should be in the starting 11 as well. Any ideal moves next week? The thing is that I mentioned this earlier on the stream as well. I think it's kind of hard to predict what will happen ahead of game week 38 because it really relies on how game week 37 turns to be for some of the teams. So there might be some extra teams on the beach in game week 37, but it really depends on the fixtures and the results in game week 37. So I have actually thought about taking a punt on, let's say, Cian Fleming, the Burnley forward, against Wolves. A really good fixture on paper, at least for Burnley. They have a tough game, especially this game week playing away against Arsenal. But next game week, taking a punt on Fleming at home against Wolves in the last game of the game week could be a fun punt. It really depends on how it goes in at the bottom of the table as well. So Spurs, West Ham, will they still have something to play for in the last game week? So if West Ham needs to win in game week 38, it could be a really good time to bring in West Ham players playing at home against Leeds. Same goes for Spurs. If they still need to win in the last game at home against Everton, this could actually be a nice fixture for Spurs. And I have checked the stats. Everton, they are actually the worst team when we consider expected goals conceded. So this is one of the reasons why I have seen a lot of talk about bringing in Everton players like Tarkovsky, O'Brien, but I don't really think that Everton will keep clean sheet. So the picture this game week at home against Sunderland is really good, but I can actually see Everton struggle against Spurs in game week 38, especially if Spurs really need the points. Fulham, I think they will struggle against Newcastle. Newcastle, they have looked a bit better, especially since Bruno Guimaraes returned from injury. So I know that both Newcastle, Fulham, they don't have that much to play for, but Newcastle players could be good punts in game week 38 as well. FPL FOMO, I'm captaining a Burnley player in game week 38. I have actually looked at the possibility to bring in Fleming myself. Maybe Anthony could be an option as well, playing at home last game in the Premier League for a while, playing against a struggling Wolves. This could actually be a really fun fixture with a lot of goals. Tessa, opinions on Burnley players for the Wolves game in the last game week, Fleming and Anthony. I have actually discussed both Fleming. I mentioned Anthony as well. So I got the question that any ideals for next week. I actually think that Burnley players in game week 38 could be really good punts. I think this will be a game that will be really fun to watch with a lot of goals. So I definitely think that this could be good punts. I think Fleming or Anthony, I think it's really close between them. Fleming is probably my favorite. Kind of depends if you need a midfielder or a forward, I suppose. So this is my team for game week 37. Double up on Brighton in defense. Gabriel and O'Reilly. I have Pascal Gross, Saka, Semenyo, Bruno Fernandes, and up front Joe Pedro, Calvert-Lewin, Erling Haaland. On the bench I have Tavernier and Hill. Double Bournemouth on the bench with yellow flagged Pascal Strike as well. Fleming or Anthony, or might have both. It could actually be a good doubling up on the Burnley attack against Wolves in game week 38. Could be a classic way to end the season. So I haven't checked Anthony's ownership, but Fleming, he's like 0.4% owned, something like that. He's on penalties as well, right? I have nothing to lose, having a bit of fun. Definitely that's the way to play the game, in my opinion. Doesn't really matter if you're like 1.2 million or 1.6, right? Might as well take a couple of extra punts in the last game weeks. So have you decided, FPL FOMO, are you going to go without Erling Haaland next season as well? Or was this like a one season experiment without Erling Haaland and Mo Salah? So I talked about this is my team for game week 37. I will definitely do something with Calvert-Lewin. I will either sell him or put him on my bench. I'm not a big fan of playing my forwards against my defenders, and I have actually a double up on Brighton. So Calvert-Lewin to Gyökeres, Semenyo to Dewsbury Hall for a -4 is, let's see how that looks, is what I have thought about. Let's see, Calvert-Lewin out to bring in Gyökeres. So I'm actually 2.3 million short of doing this move. So I need to do something with Semenyo. I have 5.8 for replacement. Dewsbury Hall. Looks to be a really good option. At home against Sunderland. Let's see. From Ranik, number 1, Joe Pedro and Senesi to Gyökeres and Keane. Number 2, Pedro and Senesi to Igor Thiago and Saliba. Or option 3, Enzo Fernandez, Senesi to NGI, Wilson or Saliba. I definitely think I like option 2 the most. I'm not really a big fan of the Everton defense, even though the feature is good this game week. They are the team with the highest expected goals conceded, so bringing in Saliba, really good option. Will most probably play 180 minutes in the last 2 games. And you will have Igor Thiago that will do something similar. So nailed on to start for Brentford on penalties. FPL football not decided about next season, waiting to see what changes are made to the game and player pricing. Yeah, definitely makes sense. 0.1 short to Wilson. I think I would prefer having NGI either way, so I think I would go option 2, to be honest. So let's put up a quick captain poll as well. This is Ronek's team. Let's see. Verbruggen in goal, O'Reilly, Van Hecke, Gabriel. So same defense as me, actually. In midfield, Enzo Fernandez, Saka, Fernandez, Semenyo, and up front, Joe Pedro, Calvert-Lewin, Erling Haaland. On the bench, Darlow, Tavernier, Senesi, Stroke. So this is actually pretty similar to my team. So instead of Pascal Gross, you have Enzo Fernandez in midfield. So you're actually going to play Calvert-Lewin against your double Brighton defense. I'm not really a big fan of this, to be honest, and that's one of the main reasons why I have decided to sell Calvert-Lewin this game week. This game week in midfield, if you're not tripled up on Arsenal, you can go for Trossard as well. I have one free transfer 0.4 in the bank. I want to sell Rodgers, who's the best pick. I'm sorry, the live stream is lagging. Yeah, I got a message that OBS was trying to reconnect. Hopefully that's fixed. Hopefully that's fixed. So I have a captain poll as well. So interesting, no votes for Erling Haaland, Saka, Gyökeres, 67, other 33. So if you're voting for someone else, please let me know in the chat who will be your captain for game week 37. So selling Rodgers, I think this is a good call. I think that NGI the Everton midfielder could be a really good option on some set pieces, including penalties for Everton, and Trossard could be a fun differential in the run-in as well. And if you haven't done so, please consider giving the stream a like. I think this helps getting more viewers on the stream as well, makes it more visible. So if you haven't done so, please consider hitting that like button. And if you're not subscribed, throughout the season, I have had a Q&A like this the day before every deadline. So I usually have it on Friday nights. The deadline is usually on a Saturday. So Friday night streams. So because of the fact that the deadline is on Friday, this is a Thursday stream. So I have deadline streams as well, and I will have one tomorrow. So if you're interested, please subscribe to the channel. Dewsbury Hall. Let's see from Ranik. Maybe you got better ideas, but that's my top 3 for now. I think all of those options are decent. So my plan this game week, as mentioned, I have a similar team to you. I will sell. Let's get my team back on. I will sell Calvert-Lewin, and I will most probably sell Semenyo as well. So at the moment, I actually have Calvert-Lewin playing against my double up on the Brighton defense. I have Verbruggen in goal. I have Van Hecke as well. And they are playing against Leeds and Calvert-Lewin. So this is the reason why I want to get rid of Calvert-Lewin. And I think Gyökeres is a solid option. I know there are competition for his spot as well. So I'm not really expecting Gyökeres to play 90 minutes in both game weeks, but I think he will play enough. And I think that he can pick up FPL points. So Calvert-Lewin to Gyökeres. I need to downgrade in midfield to afford this move. So selling Semenyo to bring in Dewsbury Hall. Is what I'm considering at the moment. So Dewsbury Hall, a really good fixture this game week. FPL Bateman, I'd love an Will Osula Hall, just 0.1 owned at my rank, which is 49k. Nice. So Osula, he has done well recently, so of course it's possible. He should be high on confidence at least. So playing at home against West Ham and away against Fulham in game week 38. So Newcastle, one of those teams that they don't really have that much to fight for, right? They will play against West Ham this game week, and they will fight for their lives to try to avoid relegation, of course. But Newcastle, on paper, the better team. And I have said this a couple of times. I think Newcastle, they have looked really, really good ever since Bruno Guimaraes returned from injury. So I think Bruno Guimaraes is a good punt for the run-in as well. So Semenyo, one of the reasons why I'm actually considering to sell Semenyo is that he has really high ownership. So bringing in Dewsbury Hall and Gyökeres, even if it's for a -4, I think this will be my moves ahead of game week 37. So Will Osula. So 8 points in game week 32, 9 points in game week 33. Blank against Arsenal, and then he scored once again against Brighton in game week 35 and blank last game week against Nottingham Forest. So could be a good option for game week 37. The only thing we have to consider, of course, as mentioned, is the fact that West Ham, they are actually one of few teams that will fight for their lives in game week 37. I was so upset when Osula missed a great chance last game week, so it could have been a goal for Osula in game week 36 as well, and that would have been a really, really good run. 8 points, 9 points blank against Arsenal, and then a goal against Brighton. And if he scored against Nottingham Forest, that would have looked really, really good. You can see that he's not a 90 minutes man, though. A good punt, only selected by 0.1% of the managers. But when we take a look at the minutes, he played 90 minutes against Bournemouth in game week 33, but he played 65 minutes against Arsenal, 67 against Brighton, and then he played 70 minutes against Nottingham Forest in game week 36. So Saka, Gyökeres, huge favorites in the captain poll, 71%. And I might go that way. I will most probably go for Saka. But Gyökeres will be interesting as well if I decide to bring him in. So let's see. This is my team at the moment. So I have Calvert-Lewin. I've said this a couple of times for new viewers. I have Calvert-Lewin, not really satisfied with him playing against Brighton, and I will play double Brighton defense. So Verbruggen, Van Hecke against Calvert-Lewin. I'm not really a big fan of having my defenders play against my forwards and midfielders. So Calvert-Lewin, he will be gone. I'm interested in Gyökeres to triple up on Arsenal. And to afford Calvert-Lewin to Gyökeres, I'm considering to sell Semenyo and bring in Dewsbury Hall. So Semenyo ownership close to 50%. I'm not really satisfied with my rank at the moment. It's 135k. So I really need to do something to try to climb inside the top 100k. So not my best season overall, but considering a really terrible start. So after game week 1, I was actually ranked 9.5 million. So going from 9.5 million to 130k is probably decent. Are you doing any World Cup content? I haven't created any content for the World Cup game yet, but I will when we get closer to, I think at the end of this month I will probably have my first couple of videos ready for that tournament as well. Great rank recovery there. Thanks. So as mentioned, not really satisfied. 135k considering how much time I spent on on FPL and how many years I have played the game. So but from 9.5 to 230, that's probably a solid season. I'm stuck on my midfield from Tom Osina. Stuck on my midfield. So who's in your midfield? Could you show your game week 1 team? Definitely I can. Ooh. Will bring up some bad memories. So ahead of game week 1, my team actually looked good on paper. Of of course, I felt that this was a really good team for the start of the season. I had proven players like Saka, like Cole Palmer. So I think I just need to, maybe I can just do this. Yes, there we go. So this was my team in game week 1. Let's have a look at the game week rank as well. 9,329,000. And I think that's probably, it was like 9.5 million teams signed up for game week 1. 28 points. Ooh, so I started the season with Sells in goal. He had a really good 24-25 season. Sells was the goalkeeper with the best value. I had a proven FPL asset in Van Dijk in defense. Diouf looked really good in preseason as well. And Van de Ven, he was actually the only player in game week 1 that delivered a return for my team. So I started the season with Saka. Marmoush was kind of a punt, more to have a cover from the Man City attack. I had Cole Palmer in, vice captain, and Florian Wirtz looked good in preseason, and it was a big mistake. Up front, Jared Bowen, captain. I thought that West Ham would have a good start to the season playing against newly promoted Sunderland, but Sunderland, they actually won this fixture, and Jared Bowen, he blanked. I had Watkins in as well, together with Mateta. So a lot of proven safe FPL options in this team. Mateta, Watkins, Jared Bowen, Cole Palmer, Saka, Van Dijk. But yeah, 28 points and a terrible start. So in game week 2, it didn't go that much better. Let's have a look at this. My double up on Burnley at least paid off with Dubravka and Esteve keeping clean sheets, but another blank from my attacking trio with Jared Bowen, Watkins, Mateta. So it was a really frustrating start to the season. Saka captain and Cole Palmer, he got injured and did not play. So yeah, played my wildcard in game week 3, and it have gone pretty well since my first wildcard. So from 9.3 million to 130k ahead of game week 37. Game week 1, I was 9.29 million. Triple Villa killed me. I had a double up on Villa myself with. When you activated your first wildcard, it was in game week 3, so really early wildcard. Just had to do something, right? I had like 2 game weeks where with a 9 million game week rank, so a terrible start to the season. This channel is criminally underwatched. Thanks, David. Really appreciate it. So I've had some live streams with a lot of viewers, but usually there are not that many live. But the thing is that for small FPL channels, the FPL, let's say the player base, the managers, they are really active on deadline day, of course, a couple of hours before the deadline, but the competition is really hard for viewers a couple of hours before the deadline as well. So usually Usually it's better to go a bit earlier than like the big FPL channels like FPL. Let's Talk FPL. Usually has like 12k viewers on every stream. I have Dewsbury Hall, Bruno Fernandes, Pascal Gross, Ryan Shirky, and Harry Wilson. Oh, I have Dewsbury Hall, Bruno Fernandes, Gross, Ryan Shirky, and Wilson is on the bench versus Wolves. So you're considering who to bench. I would be tempted to play Wilson against Wolves, to be honest. So who are your forwards? Maybe you can go for 5 in midfield and 2 up front, possibly. I think all of those players are solid options this game week. Dewsbury Hall, Bruno Fernandes, Pascal Gross, Ryan Shirky, Wilson. I think actually I would start Wilson ahead of Ryan Shirky, considering the fact that we might see rotation from Man City. Congratulations on 200k views. Thanks a lot. How can you check how many views I've had? Is it possible to check how many views a channel actually has? You know more than me. So I have been doing live streams like this. This is the 2nd season. I made content for the last 2 seasons, and I made content for the FIFA Club World Cup game and the Euros as well, and I will create content for the World Cup game. So I actually managed to get the 4,000 watch time hours. So Bateman talking about 200k views. I'm not really sure how many views I have, to be honest, but in February I reached 4,000 watch time hours, and this was big goal for me this season. So that's nice. So click your channel description and scroll down, and you'll see the number of views. 205. Nice. Click your channel description, scroll down, and you'll see. So when I have live streams like this, I'm using a program called OBS. So I'm actually not logged on to YouTube. I will definitely check this after the stream though, so thanks. Channel description. And just scroll down. Nice. Any questions for the Brighton expert football and stuff? The one that made me transfer in Pascal Gross. If you have any questions about Brighton, feel free to ask them in the chat. So we had quite a few questions about players from Brighton and football and stuff. He has actually been correct every time. So when it comes to questions like will Danny Welbeck start? So my question when it comes to Brighton is, do you think that Danny Welbeck will start both game week 37 and game week 38? The Kuiper, he has done really well recently as well. I have read that he is rumored to start on the wing. Ritter probably on the bench once again. Due to Mitoma's injury, the Kuiper will probably play on the left wing, and it's pretty much nearly guaranteed a start after his great performance against Wolves, but we have no wingers, so Weltman will be right back. Nice. Danny Welbeck 100% starts. Let's see, Tamusina and 5 free transfers. I want to do Munoz to Keane and or squeeze Bruno G in, but my midfield is stacked as I said. I don't know, 3 at front, Calvert-Lewin, Welbeck and Erling Haaland. 3 at the back, O'Reilly, Gabriel Munoz. I think actually with your team, Tamusina, I think I actually would bench Calvert-Lewin this game week, to be honest. So 3-5-2 with Calvert-Lewin first on the bench. They will still fight for Europe, so I think Welbeck will start both. Yeah, agree. Sandri, thanks for joining in. Hi, mate. Can you have a look at my team? Team ID 113026. Yes, let's have a look. So if you're interested in having your team reviewed, you can possibly head over to X as well, post a picture of your team selection, and we'll get it up on the screen. Or, of course, feel free to write your team in the chat as well. Or a third option is, of course, as Sandri just did, post your team idea and we'll get your team up on the screen as well. So Sandri, Chelsea FC, nice rank still, 31k, decent season from Sandri. He is the winner of the mini league. We have had a look at this mini league a couple of times already. Chelsea FC on top, 2,246 points. Arsenal FC been on the runner-up spot for most parts of the season, but it's Bayern Munich taking that second place. Can't really see Arsenal FC beating Bayern Munich, so 240 points clear. I think we can all congratulate Sandri on the win in his mini league. But let's have a look at how game week 36 went as well. 83 points, Captain Erling Haaland for Bruggen in goal. Senesi 8 points, Gabriel 11, O'Reilly 5, and Semenyo, Bruno Fernandes, Bruno Guimaraes, nice differential. Pascal Gross with the assist as well. And blanks from Danny Welbeck and João Pedro. So good game week. Probably a small red arrow for you as well. I got 82 points, which gave me a red arrow in game week 36, but I think it was like 15k places, something like that. A solid team. You will probably have to play one of your Bournemouth defenders against Man City in game week 37. So what's your transfer plans? So are you considering to sell Senesi this game week? Senesi to... kind of depends how much you have in the bank, but maybe Senesi to Saliba if you can afford it. Tom Tomosina, is Munoz a keep this game week? And if not, having Saka or Gyökeres okay? I'm sorry, is Munoz a keep this game week? It's not a definite sell, but I think he easily can be sold if you have other options. And it's not having Saka or Gyökeres okay. I think having one of them is probably good enough. I think... So if I understand the question, I don't really think that having both Saka and Gyökeres is a must. There are still teams double up on the defense, and having Saka and Gyökeres is impossible for them. So Mr. F. Dots, Gabriel, captain, easy, nice. Did you captain Gabriel, or are you going to captain Gabriel? Probably it's the answer to the captain poll. So if you're not going to captain Erling Haaland, Gyökeres, or Saka, or Igor Thiago, let me know in the chat. So Mr. F. Dots going for Gabriel captaincy. I think it's most probably 6 points locked in, right? Potentially bonus points, and of course he can get attacking returns. Defensive contributions at home against Burnley. I'm not sure if this will happen, but definitely Gabriel is a good captain punt this game week. I will most probably go for one of the attacking Arsenal assets at the moment. My captain is Saka, and I will consider Gyökeres if I decide to bring him in. But on the screen, this is Sandri's team, 83 points in game week 36. Can you have a look at my team? Yes, hi mate, would love to hear your insights of my team. So at first it's Federico Rambaldi, and then we will have a look at Tom Mosina's team as well. I will go for Raya and maybe Bruno Guimaraes for a -4 to chase points. What do you think? I will go for Raya. He'll get double figures, I think. I'll get Essay, but not. I kind of agree. I'm not sure if I had Essay in my team, I'm not really sure if I would go for him as my captain, to be honest. One of the reasons why I'm leaning towards Saka is the fact that he is on some set pieces, taking corners, especially from with his left. So he has a lot of routes to points. 1 free transfer. So with this team, 1 free transfer. I think I would sell one of the Bournemouth players. And by the looks of this team, you will have, as mentioned, you will have to play one of your Bournemouth defenders against Man City. And I think I would do something like Senesi to, if you can afford Senesi to Saliba, maybe Senesi to Mosquera. Got to be different. I definitely agree. We need to try to find a couple of differentials for the last couple of game weeks. Sandri, what's your money in the bank? Yeah, I kind of want to know this as well. We know that he has 1 free transfer, but it kind of depends on how much you have in the bank. 3.5 million. I think with this team, I would do Senesi to Saliba, to be honest. Set you up nicely for the last couple of game weeks with a nailed on Arsenal players, seeing that you only have one of them. So they have a really good fixtures. They will play against already already relegated Burnley this game week, and they will play against Crystal Palace in the last game week of the season. And what's special about the last game week of the season is the fact that Crystal Palace, they will play only 3 days after game week 38, in the Europa Conference League final, so we will probably see some rotation in the Crystal Palace team in game week 38. I think my team ID is wrong, but try it out. So I got a couple of team IDs. Let's see. I'll start with Federico Rambaldi. Let's see. 163. So this is Federico's team, 75 points in game week 36. So a red arrow, 4.5 million game week rank, 2 transfers made, captaincy on Erling Haaland, the triple up on Bournemouth on the bench. So both Hill and Truffer actually a bit unlucky with the benchings, but I definitely agree. I would start Van Hecke, Gabriel O'Reilly myself, so a bit unlucky. So Pascal Gross, Bruno Fernandes, Ryan Shirky, Saka in midfield, and up front Calvert-Lewin, Joe Pedro, and Erling Haaland, captain. So the plan is to bring in Raya, right? Or maybe Bruno Guimaraes. I think with this team you can do something with Tavernier. Maybe something like Tavernier to NGI or Dewsbury Hall or Bruno Guimaraes if you can afford it. Alex, I'm leading my mini league with 33 points. The second has no chips left. We have 7 of the same players. Am I safe or do I need to change out Pedro to Thiago to block? So if your main goal this season is to win this mini league, I would definitely bring in Igor Thiago, to be honest. Would be an easy decision for me to try to block him. Federico, thanks for the help. Appreciate your time. No worries. So, can you afford selling Tavernier to Bruno Guimaraes? And then you potentially can go for a 3-5-2 with Calvert-Lewin on the bench. In game week 37, you will have to play Calvert-Lewin against Van Hecke and Verbruggen. So let's have a look at Tom's team as well. You mentioned that there potentially was something wrong with your team idea, but let's check it out. Let's check it out. So did you play your bench boost last game week? 91 points, nice. Senesi Hill on the bench. This was great use of the bench boost. So Tom, is this your team? Or did I get the wrong team idea? Yes, I have 3 million in the bank. Money, not an issue. Yeah, I think Tavernier to Bruno Guimaraes could be a good punt. I think I like the fixture for Newcastle in game week 38 as well, playing against Fulham. Don't have that much to play for, so Newcastle looked a bit better recently, so Bruno Guimaraes definitely a player to target for the last couple of game weeks. Let's see. So this is Tom's team. I made wrong captain E. Ooh. So this team actually did really well, and it could have been a bit better, of course, if you decided to go for Erling Haaland as your captain. Ryan Shirky captain, 5 points for Shirky and only 5 points, and the captaincy made it 10. So 91 points, Haaland captaincy, and you would have been inside the top 100 club. I made a wrong captain, tried to go for a differential. But still a really good game week for Tom. 91 points. Munoz didn't really deliver as expected in a double game week. Of course, 3 points for Munoz. Gabriel delivered as usual, and we have O'Reilly with 5 points. Ryan Shirky, 5 points for him as well. Dewsbury Hall, 5 points. Bruno Fernandes, Pascal Gross with the assists. Up front, Calvert-Lewin, Erling Haaland, Welbeck in the bench boost with Henderson, Hill, Senesi, and a bit unlucky with Harry Wilson as well. So really good game week rank of 1 million, which is quite good. So with this team, you can consider bringing in another Arsenal asset. Raya, Gabriel, maybe something like Harry Wilson to Trossard, possibly. Wait. I'm sorry. I think I would just keep Harry Wilson considering the fixture. Forgot that they actually play against Wolves this game week, so I think I would put Harry Wilson in my starting 11. So with this team, you can potentially bench Calvert-Lewin, start Harry Wilson, and you can do something like you can triple up on the Arsenal defense. If you're not going to bring in Saka or Gyökeres, you might as well triple up on the Arsenal defense. So I think with this team, I would consider something like Munoz to Saliba, possibly. Munoz to Saliba, start Saliba, Gabriel, O'Reilly, bench Calvert-Lewin, and start Harry Wilson would be my advice with this team. I think so. Hill, Senesi. Tough fixture for Bournemouth playing against Man City. And seeing that you have a double up on Man City attack, I think it makes sense just keeping Hill and Senesi on the bench. So I would go for Calvert-Lewin first bench with Hill and Senesi, completing the bench with Harry Wilson in my starting 11. Munoz to Saliba. I think this could be a really good move for this team. So no easy way for you to bring in the likes of Saka or Gyökeres, so you might as well triple up on Arsenal. I have 3.5 million in the bank, so Saliba, Miles Lewis Kelly or Mosquera. I think I would go Saliba, to be honest. He is the safest option. He will play 180 minutes in the last couple of games, and he has some attacking threat as well. I think Mosquera is good value, but considering the fact that you have 3.5 with only 2 game weeks left, I think I would just go Munoz to Saliba. Maybe a bit boring, but a triple up on Arsenal defense is still a differential, so if they keep a clean sheet, will be really good for your rank. And when we take a look at the top 3 clean sheet odds according to bookies, I think this is a new record for a single game week team. Arsenal at home against Burnley. So you can see in the graphics on the right hand side as well, Arsenal at home against Burnley. 62%. I can't really remember seeing a single game week team with 60% chance of a clean sheet earlier, so definitely think that Saliba in is a good move. Bruno Fernandes or Gyökeres captain? I think I will go Gyökeres, to be honest. My captain at the moment is Saka. We'll get my team back on the screen. My captain at the moment is Bukayo Saka. There we go. Okay, thank you. Have a great day. No worries, Tom. Best of luck for game week 37 and of course the last game week in game week 38 as well. And if you're interested in some World Cup content at the end of the month and during June and July, please consider subscribing to the channel. So this is my team at the moment. I have a double up on Brighton with Verbruggen and Van Hecke. So at the moment I have Calvert-Lewin playing against both of them. So Calvert-Lewin, he will most probably leave my team. I'm interested in bringing in Gyökeres, and if I decide to bring in Gyökeres, the captaincy will be between Saka and Gyökeres for me. I think I'm leaning towards Saka because of the fact that he has a lot of routes to points. He can get 1 extra point if they keep a clean sheet. He will get an extra point if he actually scores a goal. He's on some corners as well. The thing is that Gyökeres, I think, is a really good transfer in, but there are a lot of competition for his spot, number 9. Havertz can play there, Jesus as well. But I think that Gyökeres will start in game week 37. So transferring in Gyökeres, let's see. I think I can just actually go to the transfer page. So Calvert-Lewin out to bring in Gyökeres, and I will have to sell Semenyo to afford the upgrade from Calvert-Lewin to Gyökeres. And Dewsbury Hall is the one I'm considering to bring into my midfield. So game week 37 captain Erling Haaland, only 6% of the votes. Saka Gyökeres 59, Thiago 6%, and other have 29%. So a lot of FPL managers are considering to captain an Arsenal player in game week 37. We have seen in the chat Mr. F. Dots captaining Gabriel as well. Dewsbury Hall over NGI. I think if I had available funds, I would definitely go NGI over Dewsbury Hall. Let's see how much I have in the bag. I only have 5.8 available. NGI is 6.2. So if I had 0.4, if I had 0.4 million extra, I would go for NGI instead of Dewsbury Hall. But I think both of them are solid options, and Dewsbury Hall definitely really good value, only price at 5.2. So and as you can see in the graphics in the right corner, Dewsbury Hall, he will actually go up in price this evening together with Saliba. So we will have a couple of price changes during the night. And Dewsbury Hall is actually one of them, but I'm not really sure if I will let this influence my transfers, to be honest. We're so late in the season. Don't really think that team value is that important at this stage. So Bruno Guimaraes, Saliba, Dewsbury Hall, all of them will go up. Django, Otara, Joe Pedro, Konate, they will drop in price. So I'm not really that concerned about Joe Pedro dropping in price, even though I still own him. So to answer the question, Dewsbury Hall over NGI, I actually still prefer NGI. The reason why I most probably will go for Dewsbury Hall is the fact that I can't afford NGI if I want to bring in Gyökeres. So I will have to sleep on this decision. I think I will most probably do those moves out Calvert-Lewin and Semenyo, in Gyökeres and Dewsbury Hall. So I will have another stream tomorrow, so if you're interested in joining that one as well, that would be great. So subscribe to the channel so you don't miss it. I usually have a Q&A the night before every deadline. Usually the deadline is on a Saturday, so I usually have Friday night Q&As. The reason why this is on a Thursday is the fact that the deadline is tomorrow, Friday. So I will make content for the FIFA World Cup fantasy game as well. So if you're interested in playing that game, you know where to find World Cup fantasy videos. So thanks all for joining in. Hopefully I'll see you tomorrow. If not, best of luck for game week 37 and have a lovely weekend. So to round it up, thanks all for joining in. Hopefully I'll see you tomorrow. If not, best of luck for game week 37 and have a lovely